Meadows County. I don't know if you can see the sign up there, but it says Wildwood, Missouri. And to take the Rock Hollow Trail out to the Zombie East Trail, walk around the Zombie East Trail, and loop back to the Rock Hollow Trail, which for me today is starting at Ridge Meadows Elementary School. So I don't know if you can see that here coming off the street. And there's a couple signs up here we'll get a quick glance at before we start heading down the trail. If you remember, I was on the Rock Hollow Trail from the farther western side out by Eureka, and coming in from I cannot see it, but down the Al Foster Trail and out over here, I believe, if I don't have my way mixed up here. And here is the Zombie Trail. There's a Zombie East and a Zombie West, and I'm going to take this one here where it loops around like that a little bit and take it up and then come back out and hit the trailhead. I'm looking, there we are, we're up at the top there. Sorry, I didn't mean to bump it here. So I'm going to come down past the first entrance of the Zombie Trailhead, walk around here, and this is where I believe I used to take to the other start of it when I would hop on the Al Foster Trail. It runs right here along the Merrimack River, which I got some pretty good video of. And then up here, I never knew it was called the Turkey Ridge Trailhead, so I guess I learned something new today. We'll be back in just a minute, but it's a nice little thing. It doesn't look like I'll be the only one out here, even though it's only about 27 degrees and maybe even a less with the wind chill. So the beginning of the trail and that sign that I was at is right up here at this hill. I'm walking down into the valley or gully or whatever you want to call it before I think it'll flatten out. And to tell you the truth, I really didn't want to do this today, but I'm kind of forcing myself to do it because I know when I get on some of my hikes that I want to do this summer, there's going to be not very many, and every day is going to be a prime day to go for a hike. So I like to do this where it's a little bit uncomfortable. And what's making today uncomfortable is not so much the temperature, but it's the wind chill. And once again, that's another reason I chose this trail, is I'm hoping these trees, despite not being covered with much foliage, are going to block the wind for me as I get going. So I was watching the flags as I was driving out here in front of the buildings and things, and out there where there's no protection, those suckers were flying straight out. So it could be a little bit chilly, but that's okay. We'll see how many miles we get today. I tried to map it on the GoPro app, and because of all the switchbacks on Zombie East, it kept getting confused. So I just gave up on it. It's a well-marked trail. You can see there's homes. I'm near a subdivision, everything, nothing too crazy here. But I'm hoping it's going to be somewhere between 7 and 10 miles, and I can get home very early evening on this Sunday. But right now, it's just beautiful, and I'm glad I did it. All right, we are 0.85 miles in, and those 0.85 miles, when I flip and turn around, have been a slight to a little bit steeper grade downhill the whole way. So when I come back out, I'm going to be walking uphill for the last, I'm going to say about a mile. But you can see, this says Zombie East, and it's 3.1 miles. And it's coming out of over here. And I'm not going to take this here. I'm going to go down to where it starts on the other side. And this is where it'll dump me out. The other thing that's kind of fun, interesting, I don't know, caught my eye about this trail is this is the 8th wooden bridge they've put out here. So this is a nice trail. The 8th wooden bridge I've gone over. And so far, everything right here is paved, and it will be paved until I get onto Zombie East and start walking around this hill up over here. All right, right here is where I'm going to go off the Rock Hollow Trail and head over here somewhere. We'll pick up the Zombie East Trail. You can see this trail here, the Rock Hollow Trail, did flatten out. And now I'm along the railroad track, which I don't know if you remember, that was from a few videos ago earlier in the year when we were doing that. There's a little train that comes by here in the summer that kids can ride on, which is pretty cool. But we'll head over there, pick up the trail, and we're going to go up there and hike along the ridge and then come back out where I had stopped the camera before. And we were about 1 3/4 mile into the Rock Hollow Trail. All right, Zombie East. You can see it's no longer paved. Walking through the trees, which seems to be a great thing to do today because it's not that cold outside. And cutting off the wind is a big deal. It is a little bit muddy, but not too bad. I've been on this trail when it's been worse, as you know. So we're going to work around, and now I'm starting to think that this loop might only be about 5 miles, but we'll get the total at the very end. I think I'm about halfway to the top on the Zombie Trail. If you look, I'm not sure you can see it, but down there is the Ridge Trail that Rock Hollow Trail, I'm sorry. The Rock Hollow Trail that I was on, walking is all paved. And the nice thing about the Zombie Trail is it's just long, sweeping switchbacks. And you can see right up there is the top. So the way these switchbacks are set up, because they are so long, I'll probably have 2 or 3 more left before I reach the top of the ridge. But that's what makes it for that's what makes for a nice hike, is I'm getting the distance in, and it's nice and flat and gradually moving up. Okay, I just came up this trail here, and if you notice at the top, I have this sign over here. I have this sign. Hopefully you can see that. And then the way, because I was coming from this direction, I have this sign. Now this is the first time I've seen the extra credit outside of a map. And so I'm not exactly sure. To me, it looks like if I go that way, I'm going back down the hill and I will come out where I came in. Whereas if I go this way, I'm going to go to that first entrance that we passed by that I wanted to since we came up the second entrance. But it is kind of funny, the signage here. And we'll find out if I do the right thing right here. Or maybe I'll just walk on circles on the top of this trail all day. We'll find out. There we go. We are back to this sign. I just came off of here and wrapped around the hills over there and came back down. It was really nice. For whatever reason, the wind is starting to come in, so what I think I was going to avoid had all of a sudden picked up. But now I'm headed this way to go back to the school, and if I recall, it's just about a mile, and it'll start going uphill here pretty soon. But I'll film again once we get to the end of the trail. And there we go. This is the end of the Rock Hollow Trail. I'll be up there in the school parking lot in about 20 seconds. Rock Hollow to the far Zombie East entrance, to out the closest Zombie East entrance, and then back up to the beginning. And it is about 6.2, 6.3 miles, depending on when you start your watch. So it's not bad. It's real pretty, real easy, real doable hike, and great way to get outside and unwind before the start of your work week. Here's to a good week, guys. Talk to you soon.